Welcome to the Wise Doula podcast, a place for informative, uplifting, and educational conversations. Here we will discuss everything connected to the parenting journey, from conception and birth to postpartum and beyond. You are amongst friends here. This is a place to share our common wisdom and learn together. So go ahead, grab your favorite drink. Remember, not caffeinated if you are expecting, and join me inside. I can't wait to speak with you. Welcome back, my wise listeners. Thank you for tuning in today. If you remember, in last episode, we got to enjoy the first part of the interview with ASMR Jeremiah, an ASMR artist and YouTube content creator. The conversation was so rich and enjoyable that we decided we needed a second hour. So today we are getting to enjoy the second part of the interview with him. I am so happy that you're here. And also, let me tell you, in addition to enjoying that interview, there is a little surprise at the end. So stay tuned for that because you're going to get to enjoy something very special. Okay, on to the episode. Thank you for being here. You are talking about some deep, serious issues. You have done one about foster children that I know all the comments were like,
that was a heavy one.
Yeah.
I get choked up in the comments, man. Like, I got choked up in that video when I was filming it. I was just like, whoa, this guy, because it's such a heavy topic, you know. But thank you, Marta. That really touches me. I go, oh, Misty, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I am wondering, since you have 15 years of experience teaching chess in the after school programs, and that is a long time to have as teaching experience, you know. And after school programs are their own animal. So a lot of respect for that. I taught dance 1 year in an after school program, and it was fun, but it was a lot. But what are some lessons or some wisdom that you have gathered from those years teaching, and how do you bring that into those dad videos?
Well, I mean, I've always loved working with kids. I like when I was 16, 17, we'd go to these family reunions, and I remember this hilarious time, like random memory. So we're in Glacier Park, and I think I was like 14 or 15 years old, and I was just chopping wood, and all these kids, I had like 5, 6 of the cousin kids just sitting around watching me chop wood. And my dad comes up and he's just like, it would just figure, Jay, like you're just chopping wood and kids just hang out around you. Like they're just chopping wood. And yet they're just like little flies around you. I'm like, I don't know. I think they're cool too, you know? So when I got into teaching, you know, one thing that I've learned is that I've learned a lot. Boy, wow. What have I learned in 15 years of teaching? So much. How to be intentional, well, here's one thing that I do. And I've always made this, I speak to all kids as adult as I think they can handle. So I don't talk down to kids. I don't go like, oh, you poor baby. Oh, you. No, never. I'm like, stand up straight, look me in the eye, shake my hand. Like, let's go. You got this. You know, Michelle, you got this. I know you got the loss, but you know what? Let's go. Get back on the horse. Come on, you got this. You can do it. I know it's hard. Let's go, Danny. Come on. Get up. It's okay. And I talk to everybody. I don't treat people like kids because that would piss me off. I don't know. I hate being patronized. So I don't patronize my viewers. I don't patronize my imaginary children that I'm speaking to in my dad videos. You know, again, I want to speak to them as adultly as I think. So, as a edit that out. I don't know. What do you? This is my wife got home. So we have to. Yeah, I don't talk down. I don't patronize my viewers. I don't patronize the people I work with in real life. That's been a huge lesson. And the other one, and I've spoke about this on many times on Twitch, is learning. And I got this from acting, but it really honed in chess, which is public speaking. And getting really comfortable with public speaking, and the only way to do that, unfortunately, is repetition. But it's the advice that I had to give myself, and I've told this story before, but it's worth repeating. So I was going to do a morning assembly, and I'm by the way, I've taught probably over 10,000 kids. So I was going to do a morning assembly, and the whole school's going to be there, 600-700 people, children, parents, teachers, and principals. And as an award ceremony, I came to give away medals and trophies for the kids. And normally, my buddy, my business partner, was always there. With the two of us, we would rock an assembly. I'm not going to lie, but I was always like following his lead. And this morning, it's like 7:30 in the morning. I'm parked out front of the school, and he was like, "I'm not going to make it. This crisis came up. I got to go run over here and do the other thing. You're going to do awesome. Go crush it. You do what you do. Go blow them out of the water." And I was like, okay, I gotta blow it out of the water. Okay, I gotta oh man, I'm on my own. I gotta be okay. I gotta really. And I was getting nervous. Like my butterflies. Like, oh crap, I'm on my own. And then I remembered the advice I got in acting class when I first came to LA, which is be expressive, not impressive. If you're trying to look good, if you're trying to look cool, you will look fake. You will look phony. So I got up there in front of the student body, parents and teachers, and I remember I just took a minute. They gave me this, the principal, gosh, she loved me, and I thought she was amazing, really sweet. And like, now we have, Mr. Jeremiah. It's not my name in chess, but don't worry about it. And the kid's like, oh, I clap, and I get up there, and then I just looked at it, took a breath, took my hands out of my pockets, took my feet shoulder width apart, just faced them, smiled. I made eye contact with kids, took a nice deep breath together. And when I started, it just was, I had zero, I was from the heart. Everything was from the heart. And at one point, I even got like a little misty. I was very moved by the kids and what they had achieved. And anyway, after this assembly, several parents came up to me and they were like, "Can you come like every morning? Like, you're just like unbelievably inspiring. Like that, I just like, can you like that just way to get us, like that was awesome." And like hearing that was just such a, this is an unbelievable compliment for me. And I don't know. So the lessons that I've learned, it's and that day really, that was one of those days that kind of, from then forward, I knew I could solo, and just like, I needed that push off the cliff, but after that, I just knew I could go solo, and I could do it as long as I was not trying to be impressive. As long as I wasn't trying to look cool. I was just focusing on connection. So that's what I do with my videos. It's just, how can I connect? Like I see the person I'm speaking to, I hear the questions they're asking me, and it's kind of like my little superpower. Like my superpowers are my vulnerability. I'm really okay with being vulnerable. Like I'm really in touch with that side of myself. And I love connecting with other people. Like that brings me more joy than anything else. And seeing people connect, like getting people to like save I've saved several relationships. I freaking love saving relationships through communication. Like it is just, ooh, it is just the coolest thing. So what I've learned, connection, 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 connection. Give up looking good. Don't try to be impressive. Be expressive, expressive, expressive. And yeah, those have been those are no, and you know, the it's also one of those things though that you know you can hear that advice a ton and you can read it and you got to go out and do it. Is the problem. You got to just go out and do it. You got to get out there and have the hard conversations. And then and yeah, I spent a year in this training course called the Team Management and Leadership, and it was 1 year of like every week you met like once a week, and it's like, how have you been this week? Where have you dropped the ball? Where have you been inauthentic? Where have you withheld? Where have you not told the truth? Where have you blah blah blah? You know, and it's like every week for a year. I did this program, and you got to. It's kind of like AA. It's like you had to get on the phone and clean up. You know, hey, you know, I haven't spoken to you in 2 years, and the reason is because I was making you wrong about this, and I was like being this way, and I'm sorry. I was, you know, and you're making amends. So after a year of this course, you know, just being just confronted with everything that you don't like about yourself, you're a changed person on the other side of it. At least I am. I mean, it completely changed my who I be in the world. But there's just, but what I'm saying is there's no shortcut. You know, it's like being a content creator. You just got to make stuff. You don't know what's going to work or not going to work. But you're not going to move forward sitting down. You gotta. The reason I can do what I do is because I've had so many hard conversations, just like, you know, heavy. I got real authentic, man, like down to my raw core, like just totally open. But and it's terrifying to so many people. Like that level of vulnerability is horrifying to most people, and it's why but it's kind of like my superpower. So
It's very interesting that you mentioned that, because honestly, where I was going to go next, and you already said it. You talked about communication and connection, and you talked about how you utilize that in your videos. For me, one of the very impactful things of your videos, and I want our listeners to know that, is that you have close to 50,000 subscribers. So you're making these videos and close to 50,000 people are watching them. But when you're doing that video, when you're speaking to the camera, when you're, moving your hands around the camera, defining that space for us, props, your gestures, whatever it is, you're giving us the feeling that you're speaking just to us, okay? You're speaking to that. In a daddy video, you're speaking to that inner child that needs comfort, which is inside all of us as adults.
All of us.
You're speaking to, I don't know, in one of the daddy doctor videos, you're speaking to that inner child that has been sick and felt miserable and wanted their mom and dad, and maybe they've passed or they're far away or whatever it is, right? And the therapy ones is the same thing. You're really like, whoa. So for me, that stood out. I'm like, you're really breaking that fourth wall, and you're making us feel like we're the only person that you're talking to. So you've mentioned communication and connection, but how have you achieved that relationship with the camera? I know it's not an easy one, and it really keeps me wondering, like, I know you've been at it for 3 years and all that, but I know things get better with time, with practice. But how have you achieved that connection, that feeling of you're the only person I'm talking to, even though I'm talking to a whole bunch of them.
Or I literally just, I'm literally talking to a little black hole. That's all I'm seeing. It's just like a round black lens. I can't even see my face in it. Although I usually have my viewfinder flipped toward me so I can like check in and make sure like my framing is okay. It started with being an actor, being a storyteller. I've loved telling stories for as long as I've known. I knew I was going to be an actor. I think I was 15. I did my first play, Lost in Yonkers. I played Artie. It's a Neil Simon play. And my first performance ever, I got a standing ovation. And I remember, and I wasn't the lead. I was like, like there's like a small cast, like 5-person cast. So all of us got a standing ovation. And I remember standing there just being like, this is the greatest thing ever. I have found my calling. Like I just overwhelmed with like, I think I literally went home and I was like, Dad, Mom, I know what I'm doing. So the journey started then, and then, certainly, I've told this story too. So I go to University of Washington and I studied theater and dance. An amazing school. I loved it. I wanted college. I wanted the Ivy League vibe that is the University of Washington campus. It looks like something straight out of the East Coast. It looks like Yale. It's got this red brick, the library looks like Hogwarts. It's just like, yes, has a quad. And I was like, yes, I want college. And I loved studying there. So I graduated, and I moved to LA in 2005. And I learned more in 6 months taking an acting class here in Los Angeles than in 3 years combined of theater school. And, the things that I learned in acting class down here, I had a great coach, and he's still an acting coach. I think he's in New York. The guy's named Tom Todoroff. He's an interesting guy. All acting coaches tend to be a little full of themselves. But this guy, but he is an amazing coach. And what he taught me and everybody else is vocal control, what it means to be on your voice versus devoicing. And a lot of actors, what happens with a lot of actors is they think they want to be seen, but they don't really want to be seen. And they're really kind of afraid of being on camera and being like made to look stupid. And so what they'll do is called devoicing. It's like you're kind of swallowing your word. All of a sudden, like you're just not sounding as loud. You don't come across as like forceful, and you're back here and you're back here in your voice. It's called devoicing. So if you're doing that, it means you're not comfortable being seen. So get comfortable being seen. Like that's your job. Your job is to be a professional human being. So practice voice. Every week. Vocal warm-ups, vocal, not accents, but how to be on my voice and project. 2, stillness. This is the hardest thing for actors. Quit moving. Hold still. Use your voice to control the moment. You don't need to move your hands. You don't need to move your head. You can just be still. And people have a really hard time with that. So what I'm doing is when I get to the camera, the way all that translates, I think, is somewhere in the world of, well, I'm very clear that I want to be heard by whoever in my head I'm speaking to, my child or friend or patient or whatever it is. And I want to make sure that they feel good about themselves, that they feel comfortable, that they feel listened to, that they feel connected with. And I mean, you gave me an amazing compliment. I don't know how. I'm not 100% sure how to answer it. I hope I'm sort of answering how I get here. But I don't know. I mean, after that, I'll remind this little tidbit to your audience. I think it's from Covey's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Stephen Covey. The main thing you can do to be considered and have people think you're charismatic and like you is listen to them. Just listen to them talk. Ask a question, but don't do it waiting to speak. If you're asking a question, but you're really just waiting for you to open your own mouth, you're not listening. So because I do think that I am genuinely curious about most people most of the time, I'm genuinely curious. Because of that, I think it comes through in my ASMR. I am genuinely curious, and I genuinely do want the person, if I'm imagining talking to a human, I genuinely want them to have a beautiful experience and walk away being like, oh my God, I feel better about myself and my life. And it's like, so because I really want that. Like, it's not fake. Like, I'm not like pretending to want that. Like, I really, really want that. And I guess it comes through because that's my 100% intention is that you, the listener or the viewer, feels, and I know it's fake, I can't see you, but what I'm saying, I mean it, man. Like, yeah. Like I said, like I'm a very easy crier. Like, dude, I will get choked up like on a dime and just be like, oh, so much emotion. And because of that, I think it just comes through. It's like I'm not trying to be a cool guy unless I'm playing, like Bro or something stupid, or even Helmut is like kind of like, ah. But if I'm being like, if I'm playing like a character like a therapist or dad, I'm gonna play it as genuinely authentic as possible, and I'm gonna try to imbue some of the wisdom of. I mean, God, how long have I been really well? 20 years. My journey to where I am now. We had done some therapy when I was a kid, a little bit of family therapy when I was a kid, but not a ton. My family was huge into psychology, though. Like my family, from as little as I can remember, has been on a journey of self-improvement, self-discovery. How can we be better people tomorrow? So therapy and psychology was always highly promoted in my home. I remember like there was this pop psychologist in the 80s named John Bradshaw. But he had a lot of great things to say. He used to talk about the inner child and the dance of intimacy. And, as like a 9-year-old kid, instead of watching TV in the morning before school, my mom would be like, Maya, why don't we put in some John Bradshaw? And I'd be like, oh, I don't even want to watch John Bradshaw. Anyway, so there I am, like watching therapy videos as a young kid, absorbing it, listening to it, going like, okay, weird. Okay, a lot of adults crying. Okay, weird. Inner child. All right. Well, I'm a child, so maybe I don't have an inner child yet, but we'll see what happens. And then that moved on to John Gray. And that was another fascinating pop psychologist from like the 90s. I'm sure maybe you've heard of it. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Okay, that famous thing. And my mom had me watching that when I was before school. So I'm like getting into psychology in like my junior high and just being fascinated by psychology. And by the way, let me give you like the number one tip for men out there that this may genuinely improve your communication with your significant other. Okay. This is the most important lesson that I took away from Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It's the point system of gifts. Okay. So if you are a man and you screw up and you go and you buy your boo 24 roses. Okay, you spend $100, 24 roses. In her mind, that's worth 1 point. It's worth as much as if you had taken the time to write a nice little sweet card and to say, honey, I love you, thinking about you, and slipped it under her pillow or in a place that she would find it. That's also worth 1 point. You going out and buying a tennis bracelet, spending $3,000 on something, know much that's worth 1 point. Because men, we don't do that. We're like, oh my God, my wife got me a TV. Dude, thank you, honey. That was like $2,000. Wow. And that's like $2,000 worth of points to us, to men. not to women. And very few men learn this lesson. And when I learned that, this was an aha moment. I learned it when I was about 16. And I was just like, wait, what? This cannot be true. And I was like, wait a minute. So if I become more of a romantic, write little poems and crap, and just like do like little nice romantic gestures, each one of those is worth as much as if I went out and bought her like the teddy bear. And I was like, I have unlocked a secret. And every guy I've told this to, they're always like, wait, what? Honey, is that true? And their partner's always like, yeah, pretty much. And it's just like, this is revelation to men. They just like have no idea. Like that's a thing. And it's like, yeah, dude. Little small gestures. Each one is worth 1 point. And that's the collective sensation of love that your partner is looking for. Is all these little things, not some one big thing. That doesn't count. Like it's not nothing, but it's not like, it doesn't make up for like that sense of like love and like feeling appreciated, like the little things you can do. So that's my PSA. And that's the number one takeaway from Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, boys. And ladies, and kind of vice versa, where it's like, men don't think the way you do about gifts and receiving things. We really don't. We like big, grand, expensive gestures, and we'll be like, "Oh my god!" And if you give us like a little cute note or a sticker, we'll be like, "Thanks." So it just doesn't hit for us the same way. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully, your viewers and they'll hear that and go, okay, Jeremiah, I'm gonna take you up on your challenge there, and start just like little things, little note from my boo. Little sign of affection here, just a little nice gesture. Not even anything, just a nice gesture. And kindness. You'll probably see a profound shift in your partner. And she will probably be much more interested in you romantically, is my intuition, if you start doing these things, boys. So there you go.
This is such a good communication tip. I love it. Especially if we have probably a lot of listeners that are like new parents and there is a lot going on and they're now trying to reconnect after the baby has arrived, and there's a lot going on with that.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. I was going back to your therapy videos, which I think are absolutely priceless. Just to share a little bit of the ones that have touched me deeply. For example, was the therapy for grief. It was very, very good. I mean, it's like you said, it's a monologue that is actually a dialogue, but you're in front of this camera and you're allowing time for the person on the other side to respond. And then you are reacting to that response, even though that response is not really there, but you've imagined all the steps.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, and I don't mind admitting when I'm very sensitive, when I get emotional, when I cry, but I have been known to push that aside and kind of not let society see me crying, but I'm stepping away from that. But the therapy for grief for me was an absolute tearjerker the first time I watched it. I didn't even make it to the clinics. It was, you know.
Doesn't that feel so good? God, a good cry.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, and I don't know how you all feel about this, but for me, okay, I have days where I just feel emotionally thin. I just feel like I'm reminded of Tolkien, where he says, like, I'm like the Hobbit. I feel like butter spread over too much bread. Just thin, and I'll just need a cry, man. I just need to have a good I just need that sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta have a good cathartic cry. You're tired afterward. You're like, Jesus. You feel exhausted, but cleansed. Like, it's just such an important thing to do from time to time. I encourage all of us out there to just every now and then you just gotta have a good cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. The foster child one was exactly the same. I was like,
Well, even that one,
wow.
I had a tough time. I got choked up watching the editing on that one. I was like, okay, okay,
Mm.
got that in the feels. Okay, yeah,
I think it's very important. I think we spend a lot of time, and I was having this conversation with my public speaking teacher about how in school we've been taught about so many things, a lot of them very useful, some not so useful, but how we weren't taught about emotions, how our brain works, how to take care of ourselves. So easy to take care of ourselves physically, but
yeah.
what about mentally? And what about being open? How how do you feel about that? How do you deal with emotions or when things are
Directly.
stressful directly?
Yeah,
That communication course?
I am a, you know, like I'm a vigilante for communication. Like
Mm.
I cannot stand being in breakdown with somebody. If I'm, and again, I realize, I mean, all breakdowns start within us. And if we're triggered by something, if we're mad at somebody, because I'm pretty sure you're not actually mad at the thing you're saying you're mad at them about. You're actually being triggered by this other trauma response from something that you may not even be conscious of. And so communication for me, like, and Megan and I, listen, I have an unbelievably amazing relationship with my wife. Let me tell you, it is freaking hard won. Okay. It's not, our relationship is not amazing because it's all sunshine and roses and puppy dogs. Okay. It's amazing because we have had some conversations. Let me tell you, getting real. And there's one rule that we have in our relationship is you are never allowed to lie. I don't care how small. I made that mistake one time. And it was not even like, it was something minor that occurred to me as not huge, but it doesn't matter. We don't lie, and we're not allowed to threaten to leave. We're not allowed to threaten divorce. You can't throw that bomb and into a conversation where it's like, well, what if I just left? What if I? It's like, nope, you cheated. Nope, you cheated. You can't do that. Sorry, my language. You can't do that. You have to. You don't have to solve it right now. Okay, maybe you need to take a minute and a breath, and you need to calm yourself. Fine, but we are going to talk about this. We are going to find like where the breakdown is and always come back to love, connection. Like we've done couples therapy. I love going to couples therapy. And it's mostly for maintenance. Like usually 2 years ago, we had a huge breakdown and that we needed therapy to kind of like help that one out. We needed a referee. But one thing that, going to therapy actually, of course, really helps my therapy videos. And one thing that I love about going to therapy is she does what I stole from her. It's like, before we begin, I'm going to put our feet flat on the floor. And with Megan and me, she's like, you two are going to hold hands. I know you're angry with each other right now. You're going to hold hands. You're going to connect. Okay. And you remember that you love each other. Even when you're just like, this. You're going to remember that you love each other. And you're going to remember that you're on the same team, that we're going to get through this together. And that it's hard. It's not easy, friends. Oi. It's not easy. It's confronting. But it's why I can do what I do the way I do it, is because I've done so much practice at confronting my BS, getting off of it, letting go of being right, quit making other people wrong all the time. What's the cost and the payoff of how I'm behaving? There's always a cost and there's always a payoff. When I'm in a breakdown with Megan or anybody, it's like, why am I triggered? Am I triggered because of that? What's really going on? And I'll have to think about it and go, okay, oh no, I know. And then I can come and okay, Megan, what I made that mean was when you did this, I made it mean X, Y, and Z. Is that what you meant? No, I didn't mean it like that at all. I didn't want to. Exactly. I was making it mean this thing, not what you meant. And then I was getting pissed at you for something you didn't do. And I was angry. You just gotta go. You gotta learn how to give that crap up in your life. And it's like, and it's not that you'll always have breakdowns with friends and loved ones. Okay. You're always going to have problems and you're going to get triggered. The thing is how quickly can you train yourself to get off of it and go, okay, where is this my fault? Even when it's not your fault. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's not. Yes, it is. It's not my fault. Yes, it is. And until you can learn that, you're going to be stuck. Until you can learn to go, where am I responsible in this breakdown? Because I guarantee you have a part in it. There's no such thing as like a one-sided breakdown. It doesn't exist. Communication breakdowns happen because both people are trying to be right. The ego is getting in the way, and both people are trying to make the other one wrong about something. So it doesn't work. I'm just telling you, it doesn't work. You can get divorced or break up, and you're right. Congratulations. You don't have a relationship anymore. But hey, you're right. You're right. Yep, it's not your fault. Nope, you're right. You didn't have anything to do with it. And you're not in a relationship anymore. So congratulations. No. People need to learn. This was the thing, like the communications course, the year-long practice. It's just like it was just rigorous responsibility. Like you have to take charge of all the BS in your life because you're the only constant. And if there's a breakdown with somebody and you just can't communicate with them, it's because they're triggering something in you that you've disowned within yourself. There's some part of you that you've disowned that you can't be okay with. And that's why this person is so triggering to you, because that's the part of you that you are unwilling to accept about yourself. So anyway.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. As you're talking about the communication, I am thinking again about the power of the therapy videos. I know that you mentioned that you have a love for psychology. Yes. And that really, that really shows. And also, I know that in your videos, you always have a combination of storytelling. I mean, that's your trademark. Absolutely. You're an awesome storyteller. I know that's one of the main reasons why I started following your channel, because I love storytelling.
Thank you.
But you have the combination of storytelling and a guided meditation. Mm-hmm. And I want to hear a little bit, I think our audience wants to hear a little bit about how you get inspired to create those two parts of your video. Okay. And let's go with that. Before I make it a two-part question.
Then I think we're at 2 hours into this podcast. So let me try to answer your question, and then we'll maybe do like a brief little guided meditation.
Okay. Absolutely.
Okay. So the way, how do I do that? One, it helps to actually have done it and like gone through some hypnosis and actually done some deep meditation myself, which I have done. Highly recommend everybody. I have a video about the pros and cons, the myths and facts about hypnosis. It's not what most people think it is. It's just deep relaxation. This is getting your mind into a really, really, really calm place. And then you're going on this little exploratory journey with the guide, the help, the nudging of the hypnotherapist. But they're just on the journey with you, man. Like it's your world. They're just hanging out in it and going like, oh, what was that? They'll point to something in your mind and you go, oh, what was that? Anyway, highly recommend. So doing hypnotherapy is incredibly useful for me. Because what I'm basically doing when I do a guided meditation is literally just hypnosis. The only difference is you're not in the room, and so I would, if I was doing this with you, I would have you describe like what you're seeing to me, and that's the only difference. So in my case, I'm painting it my own. Although I do let you do as much. I want the viewer to be able to imagine as much as they can. I don't want to paint the mental landscape 100%. Yeah, want to leave room for the viewer. And I'm trying to think, what was the first part of your question though? It was like, how do I, what am I?
How do you sort of how you develop those videos, because you have both the storytelling and then the guided meditation. So how do you gather inspiration for both of those parts? Do you do like a lot of scripting? Is it like an
No,
outline? They
nothing's ever
just
scripted. I don't do scripts. I do because it wouldn't be organic. I would lose that in the momentness. I just like telling stories. So it's like when I begin, I don't, never say never. I don't usually have an idea of a story that I'm going to tell necessarily. It just kind of comes into my head. It's like, this reminds me of this one time. And uh, I'm pretty lucky that I've had a pretty, I don't know, adventurous life by most standards. I've, been blessed to have had a family that really encouraged travel and going to Europe and mountain climbing. And, I've been in crevasses and I've summited Mont Blanc and the Duferspitz and Monte Rosa. And I've been to the Swiss Alps a bunch of times. And I don't know, like I've just done some stuff, man. And all that, it's just funny, all that happened like in my late teens, early 20s. Like so much happened during those kind of formative years that I'm insanely grateful for. Because it just gives me so much like material. It gives me like, because there's a lot of times when I can be like, actually, well, there's one time in Germany, or like, oh, there's one time in Spain, or like, well, it's one time in Amsterdam, and it can actually, and it's fun for me because I like reliving the memory. It's cool, It's like I can see it, and when I picture in this communications course I took, they call it vivid storytelling, and that was something I crushed at. Like I am a really good vivid storyteller, man. Like that was a technique that I got better at it a little bit over the communication course, but I certainly had that like I like storytelling. I always have, like I like acting. That's one thing I love about acting is connecting and telling stories and sharing. And so if I'm doing like a meditation to a story, like I said, it's just organic. I'll just be talking about something, and if I go like, what illustrate this point is this story, and that's literally how they happen. So yeah, I wish I had like a deep answer. It's like, actually, yes, I planned it all out, and I know that I'm going to drop this nugget of wisdom here, and then now it's time to drop this bomb. And it's like, no, I don't do it like that. I just, yeah.
I love it. I have to say, a lot of times I think you can hear the same advice like 15 million times. Okay. You can read articles about it.
Bro.
You can, whatever, you can have a professional tell you 15 different ways, this advice or that advice. But sometimes it takes a YouTube video and a role play for it to click in your mind,
You just need another voice to say it a different way for some reason. That is such a human experience. And look, for all the couples out there, married or otherwise, it's like both my wife and I have had this exact experience, and we're both like, what the actual F? It's like I will hear what she's saying through somebody else, and it'll land. And I'll come and be like, you know what, honey? And she's like, that's what I was saying. I'm like, I know, but I just didn't land. And vice versa.
Yeah.
Or it's like, like she'll be just not hearing me. And then she'll hear it from a friend, and she'll be like, actually, I was thinking about that. And it's like, finally, but I don't know what it is, man. Sometimes you just, has to be, you have to hear things. I think I'm unique to the viewers because again, y'all don't know me. We don't have any baggage. Okay. We don't have any breakdowns. We're cleaning up. We don't have, you and me don't have any problems. So when I say something, it's coming from like a very pure, clean source. And hopefully you're genuinely like connecting with me, as I hope so. And because it's coming from I'm like a pure source, not that I'm something amazing, just I'm untainted in your mind. It's like I'm shiny and new, you know? It's like all relationships start off shiny and new. And eventually, the shine wears on. You see and they're not sexy underwear. You see them without their makeup. You know, the shine will wear off eventually, my friends. And so when I say stuff, it sounds like, I'm not totally making this up on the spot, but my intuition tells me that this might be what's happening, is that, you know, you're hearing a really good bit of advice from me. And it's just a clear voice that you kind of trust, even though you don't really know me. I'm trustworthy. You don't know me to be a liar. You don't know me to be manipulative. And I don't ever try to be genuine. I promise you that. I'm not. And so, yeah, you can hear something that I say that maybe your partner was saying, and all of a sudden when I say it, it's like, yeah,
I think in closing, I have one more question, but let me first give you a good compliment. I think it's also part of how you do your videos, okay? I've noticed, because I've watched the videos from 3 years ago and the videos that are more recent. I've noticed that over time you have developed a technique. You have like honed and refined how you do the videos. Your videos from 3 years ago are amazing. But the ones that, you know, comparing 3 years and now, what I've noticed is you've gotten the cadence of the voice perfect, the rhythm of the words. I can tell you that I've probably heard a million meditations, a million relaxations, and some of them turn me off completely. And some people will say, relax, 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 relax. And all my muscles go, you know,
work.
You have really, this is something that I was really reflecting on. You have really captured that slowing down of the voice, that slowing down of certain words. So as we watch more and more of your videos, and of course, we also have the privilege and the blessing of spending time with you on Twitch, where we see the real you. But as we watch your videos, you know, I'm going to say, yes, there is a rapport that develops, even though we don't know each other in person.
Well, I think that, look, this is going to happen to anybody who you listen to a lot of, whether it's like a, you know, like for me, like I love Lex Friedman. I think he's one of my favorite podcasters. I love him. He's got a heart of gold. He's just this, he's so genuine. You can just tell he's not faking it, that he genuinely cares and is a curious, incredibly smart human, right? And so you can't, you know, after listening to 15 hours of his podcast, it's not that I know Lex, but I mean, if I met him, I'd be like, I know you don't know me. I can't make it weird, but bro, like, you know, I know a lot about you. I know kind of your vibe. I know like what you're into. I know that you're in the, you know, MIT and you were a professor and now you're doing podcasts and speaking to world leaders and you're also a black belt in jujitsu and like all this crazy stuff. And so the same with me, it happens, right? If you listen to like a lot of like my dad, and I tell a lot, I'm an oversharer, okay? Not everything I say is true, but I tell a lot of true stories, people. I tell a lot of true stories. Like somebody asked me if I was like, you know, somebody mentioned the foster kid one. It's like, well, you guys struggling to have kids right now? And it's like, no, that was a role play. But like I tell a lot of truth. So it would absolutely make sense that people, but yeah, I have to be careful. What's that called though? It's like where the people think they know you too, and it's like you don't, but you don't. you know a part of me really well. Like there's a part of me that you are really, really in tune to. But we are not friends in real life, my friend. This makes it very clear. Like there's a gap. But the fact, though, that you're saying that it really feels like that you kind of get to know me is a huge compliment, because again, that's my goal. My goal is to cause as much connection in the world as possible. The more people that give up their egos, that say they're sorry, take responsibility for their actions and their relationships, that quit being a victim, that start just being full, authentic humans. All the good, bad, and the ugly. The more of that I can be a part of, that's me winning at life, man. Like that's really cool. So hopefully I've done that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with the understanding, of course, that you are is your YouTube persona and it's a character that you're creating, or many characters. But in any actor, there is always the underlying. I mean, the person is always there. It's just exploring different areas of what they do and who they are. Okay, last question, and then we'll do the meditation, because I'm very excited for the listeners. Jeremiah, this will probably be 2 episodes, which is absolutely fine, because we've covered a lot of good stuff. Where do you envision, sort of like, what does the future look like for ASMR Jeremiah, as far as YouTube or as far as life, whatever you want to share?
I'm going to continue. I'm continuing to learn, to grow, to expand, to get better at editing, to get better at making cool content. I really do enjoy it. I love, I found a very good work balance between teaching and ASMR, and I love that I'm teaching again in the last 2 years. I missed it. I love teaching, man. Like I get so excited seeing kids get super stoked and like geeked out of their minds about chess. And like me walking, and I walked onto this campus after I'd been gone for 2 years, and this is 2 years ago. And I walked onto this campus, and like a fourth and a fifth grader were like, "Sir, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's the chess guy. Guys, this is chess guy." And like I was like a celebrity to these kids. It was just like, it was warmed my heart. Like I made chess cool, like really cool. Like, yeah, neat. So my work-life balance right now is very good. Between and this summertime right now, which is delightful. So I'm like, my schedule's a little easier. I can do things like this. Normally I would be teaching right now. But building the channel, hopefully my family, I'd really, eventually would like to be graced with children at some point in my life. Would be really cool. I feel like that's like the last real adventure for me at this point is going to be having a family. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's like the last like real adventure. Like Megan and I are going to do awesome stuff. We're going to continue to travel and do the things that we do. And I think though that families hopefully we'll see. I don't know. I also that pressure is like I can't be like, if I don't have this, I'll die. Like, no, but it'd be cool. It'd be really cool. It'd be a neat experience. The final penultimate experience, being an actual dad, not just an online daddy.
I think everybody in the comments says that you would make an awesome dad, because those videos are excellent, But I want to encourage people to really look at your catalog and see what characters resonate with them. And because you have a lot of variety, and I love that. So I think in closing, you mentioned, and we had talked about doing a mini meditation.
Yep.
So people can get a sense for your magic. I mean, I think it is magic.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan. But yeah, I think it is magical. And honestly, I've told you before, but it has your videos have changed my life. They have changed the way I talk about emotions. They have changed um, how I cope with things. And through your videos, I've started looking. So once I started seeing your videos and getting more comfortable talking about emotions and dealing with anxiety and whatnot, I've started watching a lot of psychologists that put content on YouTube that talk about anxiety. So now I have this neat toolbox with different tools in there.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that's really what I'm encouraging the listeners to do, whether it's going through to therapy or using your videos, the videos of different professionals, whatever helps. We really have to look for whatever helps. So let's go ahead with that awesome meditation. I can talk for hours, Jeremiah. I know everybody has to do the dinner and things.
Preach, girl, preach. All right. All right. So first of all, again, thank you so much. That's an amazing compliment, and it means a lot to me. Thank you. So the way we're going to do this meditation, if you're still with us at this point in the video, go ahead and close your eyes. Notice the room around you, any sounds you may be hearing, and any sound other than the sound of my voice will not distract you or pull you away. It will only lead you deeper and deeper into relaxation. Notice where you may be holding any tension. Forehead, temples, neck, shoulders, lower back. Just notice. And right now, you have permission to completely let go. You're going to be listening to the sound of my voice. You don't need to think. Just listen to the sound of my voice as you get more and more relaxed. Be sure that your legs are uncrossed and that your hands and arms are resting gently at your side. And as you take a deep, calming breath, you're going to be twice as relaxed as you are right now. Go. That's right, good. Twice as relaxed. Notice how heavy your eyelids feel. And just notice that they're getting heavier and heavier. And even if you wanted to open them, it seems very challenging right now. And in a moment, not yet, I'm going to have you open your eyes, just briefly. And each time you close your eyes, you will be 10 times more relaxed than you are right now. So I'm going to wave my hand and go ahead and gently open your eyes a little bit, all the way up and all the way down. Close your eyes 10 times more relaxed. And we'll do that again, and we're going to open our eyes and all the way back down 10 times more relaxed than you just were. Deeper and deeper into relaxation. Notice how everything down here feels so delightful. and safety surrounding you. You're very safe, and you feel so good right now, don't you? Yeah, you do. And going deeper into relaxation, we're going to count down from 5. And when we get to 1, you're going to be 3 times as relaxed as you are right now. 5, 4, deeper. 3, 2, 1, all the way down. Notice the relaxed weight of your body and how calming and soothing it is. Notice your heartbeat, the eternal life force within each of us, that beautiful, huge heart of yours, full of so much love and kindness and warmth, all the way down. You're doing great. You're safe and warm and cozy and so relaxed. Even if you wanted to open your eyelids now, it seems almost impossible. Well, you certainly don't want to, because this just feels so good. And in this state of floating, flying, dreaming, we're going to count down from 5 again, just listening to the sound of my voice. And when we get to 1, you are going to be 10 times more relaxed than you are right now, knowing that you're safe, secure, warm, and full and surrounded by love. 5, deeper. 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down. We're just going to be here together for a moment, enjoying this amazing, immense sense of relaxation and calm. And when you're ready, give your right finger a tiny wiggle to let me know that you're here with me all the way down. Okay. Now let's take a journey into your subconscious. This is a journey that you can do by yourself whenever you want. You might even get a chance to speak with your spirit animal or whatever entity lies deep within you, radiating love and warmth, because the deep subconscious you is pure love, pure acceptance. Picture a room from your childhood. This is a very safe room. Notice what's in it. Notice how the room smells, any sounds associated with this room. Just notice them. Imagine the temperature of this safe and wonderful room, and how many happy memories you have. You're just going to spend a moment here, taking it in, enjoying it. And now you're going to notice a door. It might be a big door, could be a small door, could be a heavy door, could be a light door. Notice the door. You want to explore that door, don't you? Yeah, you do. So go ahead and walk up to that door. Maybe you have to crawl, but go up to that door. What kind of a door is it? And what's it made out of? And notice the doorknob or handle or latch. Notice what it's made out of and how it makes you feel. This beautiful door in your magical room. This safe and wonderful room. You're curious what's on the other side of this door, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Go ahead and place your hand down on the handle. Notice the temperature, the hardness, the softness. And go ahead and open that door. Enter through and notice that you are now on a path. What does your path look like? Is it a hallway or a tunnel or a cave? Is it inside an Egyptian tomb surrounded by stone? Maybe it's in a woods. Just notice this path and start walking step by step by step. Notice the sound of your footsteps. Notice the temperature of the air and how much light there is, or lack thereof. And know in your heart of hearts that this is a safe path. It doesn't mean that there's not places you can trip, but it's a safe path. Keep walking. And if you like, you can turn around and look over your shoulder, and you can see the door behind you. At any time, you can go back to your room. Your magical room. But you want to keep going forward, don't you? You're curious. Like all humans are curious. It's in our nature. So let's keep walking forward. Step by step. And notice that with each step forward you take, you're getting even more there's another door. This is a different door. This is an important door. This is the doorway to your deep subconscious, which is full of love and warmth and mystery. Keep walking toward that door. Notice it getting larger and larger in your field of view, almost as if you're being swept toward it. And there you are, standing in front of this new door. Notice what it's made out of and how it makes you feel. Go ahead and reach your hand out and put your hand on the door. And notice a warmth radiating from it. And that warmth travels up your hand and up your arm. And it spreads throughout your body like a cozy blanket of love and safety. You want to open the door, don't you? Yeah, you do. And when you're ready, go ahead and place your hand on the door, on the doorknob and the handle, and open it up. And on the other side of this door is a staircase. It goes way down. You can't even see the bottom of it. It's kind of a dark staircase, isn't it? Might even be a little bit scary, but you know that you're safe. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. Go ahead and take the first step down this staircase. Notice the texture of the stairs, the material. If they're stone or wood or glass or concrete, just notice the stairs. And start walking down deeper into your subconscious. Go ahead and put your hand out on the wall. Notice its texture. And as you go deeper down these stairs, you're still walking into darkness, but it's not dangerous. It's completely safe. And once again, if you turn around and look over your shoulder behind you, your door is back there, wide open and up above you. Anytime you want to go, you can. But you want to go further and deeper, don't you? All the way down. Keep walking down these stairs. And now that you're surrounded in darkness, you find your eyes adjusting. Just like looking up at the stars in the sky. At first you can only count a few. But as your eyes adjust, all of a sudden the light that you didn't know was there starts illuminating the features around you. And the deeper you go, the lighter it gets. You've passed through the darkest part, and now there's an ambient glow about you. You can see very clearly down here, can't you? It's almost like magic. And down here in the distance, you notice the third door. Now this is the final door. And on the other side, you're going to meet your own subconscious. And when you're ready, reach out your hand and touch the knob or the handle. And you know that whatever is on the other side is love, kindness, compassion, and warmth, and above all else, honesty. Open the door slowly. And notice what's on the other side. What's in front of you? Do you have any questions you would like to ask? Do you have anything that you would like to say to your own deep subconscious? Anything you want to clean up? Notice that your subconscious avatar loves you so much. It loves you so much because you love others so much. Give your deep subconscious a warm hug. Now you are welcome to stay here for as long as you like, for the rest of the night if you wish. And you can come back here at any time. Feel free to stay down here as long as you want. And when you're ready, you'll head back out the door and up the stairs, into the path and back to your room, but only when you're ready. Until then, sweet dreams.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I was thinking, I hope I don't fall asleep, but no, I never fall asleep with a good meditation.
Yeah.
I stay right there. It is just amazing how it brings you to the moment and then it takes you places like a good journey.
And I can tell you one of the really important key tricks of that is vivid language. So feeling the door, the path, the description. Is there gravel? Is it wood? What's it feel like? What's it taste like? What's it smell like? How do you feel like it? Hinting. You're just adding layers of visual cues and sensory cues, and those things help us in our journey to relaxation. It's very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's mind blowing. I mean, when you really get more into it, you're like, wow, this is amazing. You're like, why did I hate on meditation for so many years? It is so amazing.
It's oh my chill, goodness. Man. It just makes you, it's like, dude, a guided meditation. You're just like, you just feel better about yourself.
Exactly. And it's something that you can really, you can do with the guidance of a video such as your awesome videos. A lot of your characters incorporate the guided meditations. But in the therapy ones, they're just like wrapped in this neat little package. It is perfect. It is perfect. But in the medical ones too, you have some excellent anxiety medication, meditations, not medications. Mm-hmm. They could be a form of medication.
Headache meditations, people find those very useful. Again, it's all about visualizing your headache. It's an ancient technique. It's been around for ancient, but what color is your headache? What shape is your headache? And then where is it? And then can you move it and place it? But visualizing those things is just a fascinating technique. But it all stems from my understanding, most of that stems from hypnosis. And it's just incredibly useful.
Interesting. And it's the caring you put into it too. It's the words you say, because a big part of being in pain is that you are absolutely miserable emotionally.
Yes.
And the words that you say around it make all the difference, because that big part of you that is like, I don't feel good and I'm miserable and I want to stop feeling miserable. That's the part that those words speak to. So Jeremiah, wow.
Well, Marta, this was a lot of fun. Thank you very much for having me on your podcast, and it was wonderful to chat with you. And I hope your listeners got something out of this as well. So
yeah, absolutely. I know they will. They're gonna get 2 awesome, yummy episodes that they're gonna get to enjoy.
This is like, what is a 3-hour podcast now? We're going for a minute, so yeah.
We have gone for a minute. But that's good. It was a very good conversation. So listeners, today you have been enjoying a conversation with ASMR Jeremiah. That's what we've been doing. And remember, he's a content creator and YouTuber. He's an ASMR artist. You can reach him on YouTube as ASMR Jeremiah. I'm looking at my notes. You can also follow him on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And don't worry, I will include all of that in the show notes, okay? I do believe, Jeremiah, that your accounts are all ASMR Jeremiah, correct?
Can't miss me.
Yes,
yeah,
easy.
Yeah. ASMR Jeremiah, one word.
Perfect. And thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Hey, you have listened to the Wise Doula podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, everything we discussed today was meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. It does not substitute the advice of your medical provider. Would you do us a favor? Follow me on Instagram @LovingBellyDoula. Also, let me know what other topics you would like to see me discuss in this podcast. And please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platforms. Thank you so much. I will see you next week.